Good morning, everyone. The time is now 9:30. I will call the November 14th, 2017 Millcreek Supervisor meeting to order. If you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning again. Supervisor Brian McGrath is out of town attending a PSATS conference today, so I'll be chairing today's meeting. Next item on the agenda is public comment on agenda items other than redevelopment or rezoning applications. Any comments on the agenda? Next item is approval of the minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I so move to approve the minutes from our previous meeting.
I will second. Mr. Groh?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item is approval of the bills. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Yes, I think we need to pay some bills. Yep.
I'll second. Mr. Groh?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item is bids and quotations. We have quotes for tree removal service from our streets department. They received two quotes, one from Jefferson for $1,100, another from Dibble Tree Service for $1,575. A third quote was requested from J. Thompson Tree, but a quote was not received. Streets Department is recommending the approval of Jefferson for the work for $1,100, and I will move that we approve that quote.
And I'll second that.
Mr. Groh?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next is the CDBG consultant proposals, 5-year consolidated plan and first-year action plan. For clarification to folks out there, we receive funding from the Federal Community Development Block Grant Program. A requirement of that program is to approve what's called a consolidated 5-year consolidated plan every 5 years to meet federal regulations. That program is managed by the County Planning Department on behalf of Millcreek Township. So what we're voting on today is the recommendation from the County Planning Office to select a firm to perform those services for us. We do have a recommendation from Joe Burtis, who's the program administrator for the county, recommending that we approve a contract with Mullen and Lonergan Associates in urban to perform the planning process for us at a cost of $16,250, which will be funded out of our CDBG federal allocation. And I make a motion that we select Mullen and Lonergan Associates to be the consultants for this project.
And I'll second that.
Mr. Groh?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item on the agenda is the MS4 Pollution Reduction Plan consultant selection from the Engineering Department. Mr. Morris, do you have any words on this one?
Sure. We've reviewed the 3 proposals that we received October 19th from engineering firms to provide assistance with the development of a municipal separate storm sewer system. That's commonly referred to as MS4. Pollutant reduction plans, another acronym, PRPs. The PRPs are required by DEP, Department of Environmental Protection, to remedy sediment impairments that were found in 6 Millcreek streams, and those are Walnut Creek, Mill Creek, the West Branch of Cascade Creek, Wilkins Run, Marshall Run, and Scott Run. Amick Foster Wheeler Environment and Infrastructure Incorporated, commonly referred to as Amick. Their proposal was most impressive due to their knowledge, experience, and their proposed methodology. We met with them on Friday, November 3rd. Each of our nearly 30 listed questions was answered more than adequately. We all believe that Amick possesses the capability, experience, staff, and the foresight to guide the township's pollutant reduction plans well beyond the current 5-year DEP MS4 permit requirements. For those reasons, we unanimously recommend awarding the MS4 PRP engineering consultant contract to Amick Foster Wheeler for a not-to-exceed price of $173,399. As additional information becomes available for use with this complex project, it is anticipated that there will be negotiations to further refine the scope and the cost of the long-term project.
Any questions from the board?
Not for me.
Well, I make a motion that we award the MS4 PRP contract to Amic Foster Wheeler for a not exceed amount of $173,399 as recommended by our engineering department.
I'll second that.
Mr. Morgan, if I could, I would also suggest that the motion include authorization for the chairman of the board to execute an agreement that contains the standard provisions that we have with respect to consultants, subject to minor changes based on the recommendation of the solicitor, so we wouldn't need to actually bring the contract back to the board to sign. I would also note that Amic Foster Wheeler has been acquired by another company that's now, so its name is now the John Wood Group PLC, just for clarification purposes.
Well, in that case, Mark, should we amend the motion to award the contract to the John Wood? What was the?
Yeah, John, it's John Wood Group PLC is the new name. I think they changed names in between the time they submitted their proposal and today.
Understood. Well, we have a motion and a second to amend the motion to award the contract to Amic, now currently known as John Wood Group PLC, and also authorizing the chairman of the board to sign off on the contract for a contract price not to exceed $173,399.
Okay. Yep, I'm second.
All right. Any other further questions or comments?
Okay.
Mr. Grove?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Our next quote is from our Parks and Recreation Department regarding new entry doors to be installed at the Asbury Barn facility. Two quotes were received, a Shaw Glass Company for a total quote of $3,995, Corporate Glass with a quote of $4,545, and ABC Glass Co. was contacted, but no quote was received. It's the recommendation of our Parks and Rec Department to award this project to Shaw Glass Company for a total of $3,995. And I'll make that in form of a motion.
And I'll second.
Any questions?
No. Okay.
Mr. Grove?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item on the agenda is a public hearing on intermunicipal liquor license transfer, a Country Fair Incorporated. So I'll throw it over to you, Mark.
Yes, at this point, when parties look to transfer liquor licenses into the township is required to hold a hearing to enable the applicant to explain their request and what they're seeking, as well as to enable the public to comment on the application, and then for the supervisors to consider the application and ultimately vote on whether they would approve that transfer. So the next step would be to have the applicant come up and explain the project, explain what they're doing, and formally make the request, and then see if the public has any additional comments.
Okay. I think we have representatives from Country Fair present with us today. Gentlemen, want to come up? Yes, sir. And if you could please state your name and address for the record.
Yeah, Michael T. Jarrah, the company address, you mean?
Yes.
2251 East 30th Street, Erie, PA, 16510. That's Country Fair headquarters. I'm the Director of Facilities Development for Country Fair, and this is Jamie Bucalo.
Jamie Pichello, same address office, and I'm sales manager.
Yes, we'd like to request that the township approve the transfer from the city of Erie to our store, Country Fair number 66 at 2500 Zimmerly Road at Zook and Zimmerly store. It's been there about 20 years. Just a little background. We currently, Country Fair operates 4 stores in Pennsylvania where we sell beer. One's in West 8th and Bayfront, one's in Wesleyville, one's in downtown Warren, Pennsylvania, one's in Shipmanville, Pennsylvania by Clarion. So we've been about 4 months now, 3 or 4 months. Country Fair operates 72 stores, some of which are in Ohio and New York, so we have been selling beer and wine for decades in Ohio and New York. So we know how to operate it and train people and so forth. All of our people are trained, and they meet or exceed the training requirements of the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board. All the employees all the employees in the store receive training from the Liquor Control Board training manual. And we also designate a premise manager. There's a manager in the store that is designated to be the manager. And they also they receive it's called RAMP, Responsible Alcohol Management Program training. And then within 6 months after the license, they actually receive more training, so they're owner-operator training course through the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board. So they're properly trained and managed. And anything else to add to that?
Just, it's an existing restaurant license. We're making the necessary changes to the store to meet the LCD's requirements. I have some.
Yeah, we brought floor plans. We're going to have to remodel the store to get a beer cooler in, and we're actually going to relocate where the seating is.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask that question there when you were done there.
Yeah,
but yeah.
We're required to have 30 seats. There should be a floor plan in there on 11 by 17. So on the far left side of the store, most of you folks are probably familiar with it, but on the left side of the store, we have a seating area now. Which we need to, this west side of the store. We're going to put a walk-in beer cooler there. It's currently the seating area, so then we're going to move all the seating area up into the front of the store, along the front windows, and would put 30 seats in there, which is required by the PLCB. The rest of the store would be basically unchanged. And the walk-in cooler would be, customers could walk inside of it and self-serve it. And then the glass doors and all the doors on the outside of the cooler would have locks on it so that we could lock it when we're in non-sales hours. And you got any questions?
The Liquor Control Board, have they approved this seating arrangement, this layout of the building?
It's
Or it's going to be part of the license that would be issued?
yeah, this is what was sent into the
Okay, so
into
they have
Harrisburg.
no comments, or? Not that I do, I'm just curious, just for the record.
We're
you
good
know.
to move forward.
Okay.
And then at the time of sale, before
Okay.
we go on sale, they visit the location and
Right.
inspect us.
Okay. Okay. It seems to be the thing that's happening anymore in grocery stores and,
Well,
you know, Wegmans
we're-
and one of your competitors, I don't want to talk about, but,
Well, convenience store business is a highly competitive business. I mean,
Right, oh, yeah.
It changes, it's a very dynamic business,
Right.
it changes all the time. And most of our competitors, Get-Go and Sheetz, have beer in their stores, and they've had it
right,
long before we have. We've only had it since July in some of our stores. They've had it for
Yeah.
years, and we're kind of forced into it.
just as a matter of reference here, now the other stores that you have that have liquor sales, that have beer sales, what type of, I mean, is it mostly carry out? You don't have people really consuming it on site?
We've had 4 stores up running since July, and we've only had 2 people actually drink on the premises.
Drink
which
on
is
the
a lot.
premises, yeah.
Our policy states that we require that they would purchase a hot food item, not a packaged item.
Okay.
A hot food item when purchased. Any alcohol beverage, they're only
Okay.
allowed to drink 2 40-ounce in a
Right.
store at that time, but that is not the way it's been. It's been mostly for takeout.
Well, yeah, that's what I figured, mostly takeout there.
We have 30 seats there, but,
Yeah,
well, I mean, we sell other food items that people use throughout the day.
yeah. They put a big screen TV in there, you never know what's going to happen on Sundays. you know.
Any questions from the audience? None? Okay, I guess we'll I declare the public hearing closed then. Moving on to, thank you, gentlemen, for your time.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Resolution 2017-R45, a resolution of the Township of Millcreek, County of Erie, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, approving the intermunicipal transfer of resident liquor license number R10502 into the Township of Millcreek from the City of Erie, which is the license that we just had the public hearing on. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Yes, I so move to approve that liquor license transfer.
I'll second. Any concerns from the solicitor?
No, the paperwork's in order.
Mr. Groh?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 2017-R46, a resolution to revise Millcreek Township's fiscal year 2016 CDBG action plan. Again, for the clarification of the audience, as I mentioned earlier, we do receive federal grants through the Community Development Block Grant Program that we approve annually for different projects within the township. This particular resolution is regarding a project we had previously approved to HANDS, a nonprofit housing development corporation. That project was discontinued, so there remains $7,700 in that project budget. And with this resolution, we'll be reallocating those funds into our Phase 5 sidewalk accessibility project, which is the curb cut ramp projects folks are probably familiar with in the township. We're reallocating $3,564 into the Phase 5 sidewalk accessibility project and setting aside $4,136 for the Phase 6 sidewalk accessibility project. Are there any questions from the board?
Not for me. Nope.
Any comments from the engineering department? Do I hear a motion?
Yeah, I will move to approve Resolution 2017-R46, the revisions to our CDBG plan.
I'll second. Mr. Groh?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item on the agenda is the Millcreek Community Hospital Pilot Agreement Amendment, and I will throw that over to Mr. Shaw.
Sure. This is an amendment to the pilot agreement that the supervisors had approved earlier this year. After as the paperwork was getting put together, it was discovered that two of the properties within the list shouldn't have been on the list because they were 100% taxable. So we need to amend the pilot agreement to officially remove those from that agreement, and that's what this document is.
All right, any questions from the board?
Nope.
Do I hear a motion to approve the amendment to the pilot agreement
Yep.
with Millcreek Community Hospital?
Yes, I will move to approve the amendment dated for today.
I'll second. Mr. Groh?
Vote yes.
And I vote yes. The next item's on our agenda, termination of the old Millcreek Township Sewer Authority lease and approval of new Millcreek Township Sewer Authority lease. Just some background information. Last year, we began discussions with the Millcreek Township Sewer Authority regarding integration of their staff and their space with our engineering and zoning department. This is the next step in those integration proceedings. In order for us to relocate our engineering and zoning department into the old authority space, our department has been expanding and requires additional space. It's necessary for us to terminate the existing lease for 4,700 square feet. But in the same action, we'll be approving a new lease for the sewer authority for the space they actually require, which is 571 square feet, so that our engineering and zoning and their sewer authority staff can cohabitate in one office space. Anything else you want to add to that, Sean?
No, I think this is the change that we needed to do. Of course, with the absence of the Millcreek Water Authority, with their dissolution a few years ago, it freed up a lot of space there in the existing sewer authority offices, and we need to utilize those for our expansion of our engineering department. So I think it's a good move. We support that. So.
All right.
Mr. Morgan, I would note that with respect to a motion on this, I would recommend that any motion include, as similar to the MS4 motion, authorization for the chairman to execute a final lease agreement. There still may be some minor tweaks done to this draft, and but the major portions of the lease document would remain the same.
Okay.
Well, first I'll hear a motion to terminate the existing Millcreek Township Sewer Authority lease.
I will so move to approve to terminate the existing lease.
I'll second. Mr. Grow?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next, I'll hear a motion to approve.
I'm sorry. If I could just clarify that would be to terminate effective December 14 of 2017.
Okay.
It's 3 days
Yes,
notice.
yes,
Yes.
for the
Sorry
clarification.
So
about that.
procedurally, the authority will be given 3 days notice
Right.
for that lease to be terminated on December 14,
Correct.
2017.
Sorry about that.
I'm fine with that proviso on it, so.
Anything else, Mark? Sure. Okay.
Well, no. I'm kidding.
All right, next I'll hear a motion to approve our new lease, which would be for 571 square feet to the Millcreek Township Sewer Authority at $16.50 per square foot annually.
And what is the effective date on that? That would be the 14th of December?
That would be December 15.
December 15th, okay, I just want to make sure that was on the record. I will move with those terms and conditions.
And now second, Mr. Grow?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item on the agenda is the appointment of CPA auditors for 2017. We do have a recommendation from Mark Krzyzewski, our township treasurer, recommending approval of a contracting with Felix and Gleckler PC to serve as the CPA auditors for fiscal year 2017. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Okay. I do have a question in regards, and I probably should have asked this before. Mr. Gleckler was a contributor to my campaign when I was running. Does that put me in an awkward position? Can we hold this off until our next meeting? This doesn't have to be approved today, does it? It's not of a time urgency, or does it have to be? I just don't want to have anything that would appear to be an ethics violation. I did not get a chance to consult with you about this.
Yeah,
Mark, so
I don't
sorry.
know, I don't know offhand. My initial reaction is probably not. I'm not sure that
Yeah.
campaign contributions rise to that level, but I'm not sure that this actually needs to be done today as opposed
Right.
to
I'd rather err
in
on the
2
side of
weeks.
caution, and if there is an issue, then I will remove myself from voting on it.
Because
so-
the work on this isn't going to start till next year.
Right.
So-
Yeah, so we still have some time to get it done there, so, okay.
Well, and I
My
will-
apologies there to the board, and Mr. Shaw.
Well, and also our treasurer, Mark Krzyzewski, is absent today due to a death in his family, so Mark's not here to clarify either.
Right, yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion to table this until the November 28th meeting.
Okay, and I'll second that part, yeah. Sorry about that.
Next item on the agenda is streetlight installation request for Grouse Hollow subdivision by David Baldwin, a developer of that subdivision. This is a request to approve streetlights in a new housing development over in Bell Valley. They've met all the requirements, but need final board approval before work can commence. Do I hear a motion?
Yes, I'll move to approve that streetlight agreement for Phase 2, I think it is, of the Grouse Hollow. Is that Phase 2 of it? Yeah, Phase
Yep.
2.
Phase 1 and 2, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Phase 1 and 2, I'm sorry, yeah, of the Grouse Hollow subdivision.
And I'll second. Mr. Grove?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item on the agenda is contract with restoration for demolition. This is in regards to an enforcement action taken. The township was granted permission by the courts to demolish a blighted shed / garage located at 1758 High Street in Erie. Received a quote from Erie Restoration for $2,000. Ms. Maggio, is there anything you'd like to add to this action, or any comments? Do I hear a motion to approve?
Yes, I move to approve that contract with Erie Restoration for the demolition of that garage at that specific address.
I'll second. Mr. Grove?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item on the agenda is a non-substantial land development plan amendment, Waldemere Park and Waterworld, for a land development plan originally approved at our August 26th, 2014 meeting. Mr. Morris, do you have any comments?
Yes. The non-substantial land development plan amendment shows changes to the West 6th Street access by moving the access as far from the intersection as possible with Peninsula Drive. And it also shows a change in the configuration of landscape areas within the parking lot. It's a compromise.
And I understand we have representatives from Waldemere Park present. Would you like to address the board?
Jim Welka, 3200 West 32nd Street. I'm the surveyor and engineer working for Waldemere Park. We're requesting that the amended land development plan be approved by the supervisors that show the reconfiguration of the driveway along West 6th Street, as well as the trees that were agreed upon to be planted in the parking area.
And Mr. Walker, I understand you and your client were also informed that there's a green strip missing on 6th Street that will also be included.
Yes, that is
Yes, sir.
correct. The 10-foot green strip along 6th Street will be amended as such.
In prior discussions with Mr. McGrath, who couldn't be here today, there were some concerns regarding the size of the planting islands. I guess a few of them seem to be undersized. I understand Mr. Waldinger has been in contact with you regarding that issue.
Yes, I met with Mr. Waldinger, and I'd be glad to meet with him and work out any of those details to make sure he's satisfied with the size.
I believe the recommended size from our engineering department was 200 square feet.
I didn't think there was a size required, but they're kind of, some of the shapes are odd, triangular, and we can sit down and take a look at them individually and make any changes that they see fit.
Mr. Morris, are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, the minimum size in the new ordinance is 204 square feet, and that's a 12 by 17 foot area. Parking space is 9 by 19 feet, which is 171 square feet, and there are about 3 of those. So there are some areas that are smaller than what's included in our new ordinance. However, he's really not required to abide by the new ordinance.
I guess the concern that was brought up is that perhaps the sizes might not be conducive to growth of the tree, may require replacement of those plants at a later date by your client, in case these aren't designed to a spec that would be more conducive to the growth of the tree.
We understand, and we'll be willing to sit with them and work those details out.
Okay. Any comments from the board?
Yeah, just something for the record here, Cheryl. I'm sure you'll be writing this down here for the minutes. Just a brief comment, and I thank Mr. Nelson for his desire to talk with us about it. Of course, he had the right to amend the plan as that's what he's requesting, and really myself, I didn't see it as a big issue. I think because Mr. Nelson's a good level-headed guy, and we try to be ourselves there too. It really was, in my estimation, a non-issue, and we appreciate his desire to get this thing resolved. Of course, as you know, the tree requirement was put in after this parking lot. We amended our land development code to require trees. So we got a little of this and a little of that. Everybody comes out ahead, no harm, no foul, and sincerely appreciate Mr. Nelson and Steve Gorman in their desire to get this matter taken care of. We all gave a little bit on it, and I think it's going to be a nice-looking parking lot. If more trees could be put in, that'd be great, maybe in time. We don't know, but we appreciate the efforts there and continue being an attraction for Millcreek Township and for the Erie region. That's what we like. So just wanted to make that for the record there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the audience? And again, I guess, again, for clarifying statement here about the amendment to the plan. Our previous ordinance did require 5% landscaping of parking lot areas, but that ordinance didn't really specify what that landscaping could be. It could be landscaping stones in some cases. Some developers have done that and called it landscaping. So with this action, we are agreeing to reduce that 5% requirement to about 2.5%. But the trade-off is Waldemar has agreed to plant 16 trees in their parking lot to be a much more, I think, significant and impactful improvement than basic landscaping, and hence the discretion of the board to accept that kind of a compromise.
Right. And just want to add one other thing here too, that as Mr. Nelson has stated, that the work outside of his property, out on the boulevard, he has helped beautify that boulevard, because it had been falling apart for a long time. It seemed like it was neglected by PennDOT, and I think there was once a garden group that took care of it, and somehow it fell apart, or whatever the case might be. But the beautification of that entryway as you get down under Presque Isle State Park is really appreciated. So, so everything, it's going to look really green down there as time goes on. So it's going to be good.
All right. Well, do I hear a motion to approve the non-substantial land development plan amendment?
Yes, I will so move.
I'll second. Mr. Grove?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item on the agenda is a financial security reduction request. Now I'll turn it over to Mr. Morris for explanation.
Financial security for John P. Abate is held in the amount of $1,000 by a Marquette Bank check number 504. And it's our recommendation that the request to release this $1,000 financial security amount be denied because Mr. Abate has not constructed the earthen berm that was shown on the approved land development plan. And the purpose of the earthen berm is to stop water from flowing off from his property and instead allowing that water to pond if we get a gully washer so that it will eventually infiltrate into the great soils that he has there. We met with him yesterday morning and we outlined exactly what he had to do, and he was not happy, but that's what's shown on the approved land development plan, and that's what needs to be constructed.
Mr. Morris, just to clarify for the audience, this is a routine matter when folks who are developing their properties have completed the work, they formally request release of those securities, correct?
Exactly, and typically these come up once everything has been completed satisfactorily, but in this case it hasn't been. So that's why we're recommending denial.
And so we have not and are not taking any kind of enforcement action to get the plan completed at this time. We're simply denying the financial release because the project's not been completed yet.
That is correct.
Okay.
Any questions from the board?
None for me.
Do I hear a motion to deny the financial security reduction request as recommended by the engineering department?
Yes, I will move to deny the request.
And I'll second. Mr. Grove?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item on our agenda is communications. MPD requests from Chief Height. I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Grove.
Okay, give me just 1 second here. I got several things here to bring up. This comes from Police Chief Scott Height. Request for today's meeting. First item on the agenda is permission to purchase 60 replacement taser replacement cartridges from Axon for a cost of $2,024. I'll put that in the form of a motion to approve that purchase.
I'll second. Mr. Grove?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes.
The second item is permission to purchase 5 certified mini sound meters from SPER Scientific at a cost of $965. And I think that is each. Is that right, Mark, or is that? I think
I think that may be the total.
that's a total?
Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
they were $1,000 each.
Okay. Okay.
If I'm thinking of the
I'm
right-
just, maybe I was thinking too far.
I've been a little
into
bit
it
out of the
there.
loop, so I'm
We'll
not-
leave it at that, and if there is a problem with that, then I'll have to amend that at the next meeting, so. Anyway, put that in the form of a motion to purchase the 5 at $965.
Total.
Total. If I get corrected, we'll get corrected at the next meeting.
I'll second.
Okay.
Mr. Grove?
I vote yes.
I vote yes.
Okay, item number 3 is to purchase 6 microphone cases for the sound meters at a cost of $80 total. I put that in the form of a motion.
I'll second. Mr. Grove?
I vote yes.
Aye. I vote yes.
Okay. Item number 4 is permission for Corporal Kyle Caldwell and Patrolman Dan Schupp to attend the Gracie Survival Tactics Instructor Level 1 certification hosted by the Pittsburgh Police Department December 4th through the 8th. Travel will be by department vehicle, and the estimated cost add up to $3,286. That's a training course. I put that in the form of a motion for those 2 officers.
I'll second. Mr. Grove?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes.
Item number 5 is permission for 4 ISD officers to attend the Reed Advanced Interview and Interrogation course coming up in April of next year, April 4th through April 27th at the Erie County Public Safety Center. The course registration is $575 per officer, and I will make an assumption they'll be using a township vehicle for that just to go there. Total cost is $2,300. I put that in the form of a motion.
Saw an eyebrow go out in the crowd. April 24th through the 27th.
Yeah, did I say that? Okay, yeah. April 24th. Yeah, dude, we're talking next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you said 4th.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, yes.
Someone thought we were
I'm sorry, yeah,
setting
April
something up for a month.
24th through the 27th. I stand corrected there. Thank you.
Just want to clarify.
Yep.
I'll
that's the vote.
second.
Okay.
Mr. Grove?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes.
Okay. A couple of things here I just wanted to comment about. Over the weekend, their Lakeshore Fire Department, which is out in northwest Millcreek, just observed 70 years of service to the northwest Millcreek area in the Fairview Township. Wish them the best and continued service out there. On Saturday, with all the veterans events going on, we had a little event up there at Veterans Park. A group called Rolling Thunder, made up of Vietnam veterans. And I think there's other veterans part of the group too. I stand corrected if I may misspoke on that. They had a fish. If you guys remember from years ago, the Go Fish statues, one of the members had a business and he has retired, and this statue was made up in a military theme. And he had donated it to the township for display at the Veterans Park. All are welcome to go see it. It's right out near the road there, up at Zimmerly and Love Roads. It's a really neat statue. So we had a little ceremony accepting that statue, and we are very appreciative of their gift and also their service to our country and all veterans that have served our country. One other thing here, this has to do with the tornado and flooding that we experienced back on not this previous Sunday, but the Sunday before. Of course, we are still working on all of that there, folks, but one of the things I'd like to point out is the Bell Valley Fire Department and the flooding that they experienced. And you have to pardon me for getting on a soapbox, but I'm going to have to for a minute. The flooding over there, much of it is caused by a PennDOT issue, and there had been talk many times before, and I know I have talked with our township engineer about having that intersection rebuilt. And of course, PennDOT would rather spend money on things like roundabouts. $14 million, I think it was. And so we are now faced with a situation because the cost to rebuild that intersection is going to exceed, it's going to be a lot of money. We are looking into possibly relocating the Bell Valley Fire Department. We don't know, it's just a thought. These folks do need help out there. They've been flooded twice so far in the last 4 years, I believe. Is it 4 years, Rick? Something, it
It's
doesn't
closer
matter.
to 8,
But,
because it was June 30th of
right.
09.
But the
Little over
problem
8.
lies in the fact that that intersection needs to be rebuilt and retubed and everything, and
Yes, and there are many other advantages to that in terms of the efficiency of Route 8 traffic as well as North
right,
Cross.
yeah. It's a
And
bad
make it
intersection.
safer.
Anybody lives
Yeah.
out there, they know. I don't live in the area, but I've been in the area, and it's a snarl out that way. And add flooding to it, it makes it even worse. So we are going to try, hopefully, with some help from the state, federal, and county governments, that we can get something going to get that station relocated to a high and dry zone there, so that it doesn't get flooded as often. So anyway, I just wanted to make that comment, and just for what it's worth there. So I think that's all I have. That's all I have there, yes.
All right. Mr. Exley, You work very closely with our new Fire and Emergency Services Commission. I understand part of their mission is developing standard operating procedures and to evaluate level of service. Is this something that the commission would be interested in taking part in for a site relocation plan or to, I know your office has been doing some work to kind of map out the service areas of our fire departments.
I think it's certainly something that, that one way or the other should be involved in. If nothing else, the data that we've gathered and that we're placing together, we don't have everything together yet, but we're going as far as mapping out road miles so that we can properly determine whether our fire stations are located in the correct areas, whether our stations are covering the correct areas, and hopefully within the next month or two, we should be able to have all that data together so that we can scientifically show, you know, whether everything's located in its right place and whether we have the right equipment or not. And so if nothing else, that data will be critical to any kind of conversations with us.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks.
Anything else, Jeff?
No, I just wanted to add that out there, so we're working on it, folks.
Next to communications is a staff approval request from Human Resources Office. This would be a request to hire a new engineer in our engineering department. This would be a project engineering position. The individual that was selected by our engineering department and HR is Ms. Emma Smith, who's a certified, she's a professional engineer certified in Pennsylvania. Ms. Smith is a graduate from Penn State University with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Civil Engineering with a minor in Environmental Engineering. She is also a LEED accredited engineer, and most recently has experience from Vica, Maryland, LLC, and SCS Engineers in Denver, Pennsylvania. Mr. Morris, is there anything you'd like to add about Ms. Smith?
Seems to be an excellent candidate, and we're really looking forward to having her on board. We need help. Thank you.
And the salary we'll be voting on today for Ms. Smith will be $63,000 annually. And this is, just a side comment, this is really tied to really the expansion of our engineering and zoning operations. We've experienced heavy flooding issues in the township in recent years. Through our Embrace Millcreek plan, we've heard a lot of input from residents expressing the need for us to get more proactive in stormwater engineering. And it's the anticipation from Mr. Morris that Ms. Smith would be assigned primarily to deal with stormwater issues in the township and also help manage the project we approved earlier today for the MS4 PRP stormwater management project. So I think it's really excellent timing. I think there's clearly a need in our community for us to expand that department. And I think there's an appetite from the public for us to provide those enhanced services. So I would move that we approve the hire of Emma Smith as a project engineer to start her career in the township on November 27th, 2017, an annual salary of $63,000.
And I will second that motion.
Mr. Groh?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. And we also have a staff approval request from Parks and Recreation to approve Susan Schickler as a new hire as a new Asbury Barn supervisor at a rate of $8.50 per hour, as well as Emma Louis as a lifeguard in our recreation programs at a rate of $7.95 an hour.
Your motion? Do you need a motion, or did you move on?
I'm asking for a motion.
Okay, I'll move to approve that hiring.
I'll second. Mr. Groh?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item, executive sessions. Just to inform the public that the Board of Supervisors did meet in executive session on October 26th, November 2nd, and November 9th. Those issues were regarding various legal and personnel issues in the township building. Student Ambassador Report.
McDowell Honors College has recently been sending students on STEM field trips to the local colleges, and we also have students attending GE lecture sessions every Saturday.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Solicitor Communications.
Nothing on my end.
Really?
Really. I've spoken enough tonight.
Right to Know Report. Cheryl?
Yes, during the month of October, we had 10 requests. 9 have been completed. 1 is still pending due to a 30-day extension. All responses were completed electronically. 3 were denied. 1 was granted. 5 were partially granted, partially denied. It took 18.5 hours to complete all the requests.
Okay. Thank you, Cheryl. Code violation report. Julie?
In October, 9 property maintenance complaints were sent to BIU, and 24 temporary signs were removed from the right-of-way.
Any questions from the board?
No, actually, I will have just one quick comment. I've noticed that it seems like most of the political signs, at least the areas I've been driving at, most of them are down. There's still one candidate that has kept signs up, and you know, hopefully that person will take them down here soon. You know, they're the bigger signs that at prominent intersections where it's zoned commercial. So, you know, election's over.
Ms. Maggio, and I know the signs you're referring to. I know that the ordinance requires permitting for signs
The
larger than 5
larger
square
32
feet.
square foot
And now, is that
signs,
for a
and they-
30-day permit or a 60-day permit?
60 days,
Right.
Okay.
and we do keep a $200 deposit, and they
Okay.
have to request back their deposit.
Right.
All right. Thank you, Julie.
You're welcome.
October building construction report.
Okay, in October, there were 300,000 in total residential structures, 4,958,300 in total non-residential structures, giving a grand total of $5,258,300 in construction. 9 zoning permits were issued, and $3,850 were collected in zoning permit fees.
Okay.
Any questions from the board?
No?
Thank you, Julie. November 5th, 2017 tornado report. Throw it over to Mr. Exley. How are we doing, Matt?
We're getting there. As many of you know, on November 5th, we experienced what was later determined to be a EF0 to EF1 tornado. Went through Millcreek Township. Fairly unprecedented for going through a populated area of the township. We have had smaller tornadoes that have gone through Presque Isle and other areas of the township before. We received the first reports of damage at about 5:59 on Sunday evening. Westridge Fire Department began to be dispatched for trees down in the damage area. At approximately 6:20, the Office of Emergency Management was notified of significant impact to the township, and we mobilized our Emergency Operations Center. I will say that it was a bit of a challenge getting to the Emergency Operations Center, as every east-west road, or I'm sorry, every north-south road between Kahi Road and basically the city line were blocked by trees. We had several staff members that took a while to get in just due to the damage. In the end, we had received within an hour's period of time 43 911 calls were processed by the Emergency Operations Center. That night, we received 49 damage calls, and those calls continue to go up as far as damage reporting. And we had approximately 300 trees down across the township. At the same time that the tornado was going through, we were receiving flooding in the West Lake District of the township, as well as in Bell Valley. As Mr. Groh advised, the Bell Valley Fire Station began to flood. We, in addition to taking care of the wind damage at that time, is what we were aware of. We also dispatched water rescue teams to the Bell Valley Fire Department as we had to evacuate their bingo session, several residents throughout the area. Opened a emergency shelter with assistance of the American Red Cross at the Bell Valley School for anybody who needed it, and also provided assistance in road blockages to the West Lake District. One of the things that I'd like to comment as far as what we did during the Father's Day flooding and this flooding, which I think have benefited the township, and Mr. Snyder might be able to expand on this as well, is in the past the township never fully operated an emergency operations center the way it really should be. We've begun to do that, and what that has allowed us to do is, instead of dispatching our streets department out to this call, that call, and having them run all over creation, we allow the emergency operations structure to come into play. Mr. Snyder is there as a representative of the Department of Public Works, and then we assign response activities to the streets department. It keeps things a lot more coordinated and allows us to use our resources a lot wiser. And in this case, I feel that that panned out because although we had extreme damage throughout the damage area, every one of those roads, with the exception of ones that had Penelec power lines in them that we could not move, were open within 24 hours, which was I feel a pretty good goal to have that we accomplished. When we were looking at the damage afterwards and with the prospect of snow on the horizon, one of the things that we identified that was going to be a major issue that we were going to have to overcome was debris management. And so we contacted Team Rubicon, veterans-based disaster relief organization. We have 3 representatives of them today who came in, and these guys and gals have been absolutely fantastic. They've come in and helped our homeowners, particularly ones that are veterans or may not have had insurance that covered everything. And what this allows us to do is, although the private property is not necessarily the township's issue, in the end it becomes our issue because we have storm damage in the area. People may not have the wherewithal to be able to remove those, and then 3 months down the road we get into a code enforcement issue with them. So this organization has come in free of charge to the township. They've been absolutely fantastic. I'd like to recognize them, and David Dodds, who is their incident commander. They have a great structure, and we're extremely excited to have a relationship with them. In addition to that, we also had a great working relationship with the American Red Cross, and the Salvation Army has assisted with canteen requirements for Team Rubicon as well. Westridge Fire Department has provided bed-down facilities for them to be able to stay. And the current, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the current anticipation is that their operational period will last at least through Friday. And they're also helping the Office of Emergency Management out as well. As you know, we're a 2-man operation during the normal times. They're assisting us with damage assessments as well. And one of the nice things about this organization is they're very open, so they will be providing us with all of the data that they've acquired. So we've essentially gained 20 free staff members during a tornado during this, and it's been a huge help to us. So.
Yeah. Okay. How many people do you have here with the Team Rubicon right now? Is there 23? Is it? 24. Okay. So we have other people coming in, and you folks are from all over, everywhere, right?
That's correct. So we have people here from Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, we have people down as far as Canada.
Right. All veterans of the military.
Veterans,
And first responders there, yes. So even after you've given your service to the country, you're still serving mankind. Appreciate that so much. Thank you on behalf of the Board of Supervisors and the residents. Yeah. Thank you.
Any questions from the board on the tornado response or damages?
I have nothing. I think you did a great job up there, Matt, you and Caleb, and everybody that worked up in the office, up in our command center up there. Gary was there, and Carol Perella was there, and Judy came in a little bit later, and so we had a good team of people there.
Full staff callback. One clarification that I'd like to make that has been going around in the media a lot is we have a very good working relationship with the National Weather Service in Cleveland. We are a storm-ready community. We work with them on a daily basis. We're working on several initiatives that is going to help and benefit the township and Erie County in general. There's been a lot of question as to the timing of the tornado warnings.
Mm-hmm.
The tornado that came through was an F1 tornado. Unfortunately, was not able to be seen on radar at the time. The tornado warning that came through at 6:40 was for a separate storm over the Fairview area that was going somewhat south of us, or hoped to be going south of us, and never materialized. It is one of the concerns that we have, and one of the reasons why we have to be extra prepared within the township is that the current National Weather Service radar, once former administrations made the wise decision to take, and I use wise sarcastically, to take the radar out of Erie, the folks at the National Weather Service in Cleveland do the best they can with what they have, and unfortunately the radar that the current angle that it's at reaches about 20 to 30,000 feet above us when it's because of the curvature of the earth. So it makes it very difficult for them to forecast these kinds of storms. although we have some local radar at our local news stations and whatnot, it really drives home the point of being able to be prepared, particularly in a storm like this. Although it's rare, as many people in the community saw, it was several days before we could get the power back on and debris removed and things like that. So we really need to be prepared for 72 hours and have a preparation plan for each one of your families. My family was affected as well during this storm, so not only did we have to worry about taking care of the township, but our families as well. So having that plan is crucial, and I really encourage everybody to use this storm as a learning experience and to go out there and be prepared for the next time something happens.
Okay. Good advice.
Anything else, John?
I'm all set. Thanks. Thanks again.
Any reports from the staff? All right, open up for hearing of the public. Any comments from the audience? Any concerns? Yeah, sure. You mind stating your name and address for the record?
My name is David Dodds. I'm the incident commander for our team here at Team Rubicon. We've been working, side by side with Matt and Caleb. Just a couple of quick comments. One, the community's been amazing. You guys have been really amazing and supportive of us. Can't thank you enough of that. From people dropping off food to us at night to, coming by and giving us some hot coffee. You guys are really lucky to have Matt and Caleb in the Department of Emergency Management. We've responded to hundreds of disasters now, and they really have their stuff together. Really professional, really caring and confident. Just wanted to let you know that the street crews have been amazing with us too. Really, your guys' township and city has just been so supportive and amazing. Just want to give you a couple of quick numbers. We've done 53 individual damage assessments on behalf of Matt and Caleb, which have turned into 43 work orders, which is actual work that we have to have done. We've done 9 so far, completed them. We have 4 teams out there today that are working on 6 more. And we hope to have everything done by Friday. There will likely be a little bit of work left, but even when we leave here on Friday, we'll still be back in the community to help in the future. So again, I just wanted to thank you guys, thank the council, for allowing us to come in, and thank Matt and Caleb for, helping us along the way.
Okay. Just a question for you there, sir. You have enough food and accommodations for the rest of the week?
More than enough food.
Okay, okay. Well, just in case, I'm going to put an appeal out there. Hopefully the media will pick up on this, and we'll have some restaurants here locally maybe help you out there. We've had a couple already, and, and I know the Walmart, I think, has helped out with some food and beverages, and other businesses here. There's so many of them here, but if just in case you're running low or something, let us know, and we can let the media know. Hopefully somebody will take us up and help you guys out with a meal or two.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive we're good on food. The community again has been it's been amazing. It really makes our job a lot easier, and we get a lot more motivated when the community around you is just as supportive. And it's awesome to see neighbors helping neighbors as well.
Yeah.
So again, thank you guys for allowing us to come in here. It helps us just as much as it helps you. As you heard earlier, a lot of us are veterans. Some of us lose that sense of mission and purpose when we leave the military. We gain it back when we get to come out and help other communities. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you and your whole team for your service. We appreciate it. And Matt, good work organizing that for us. Appreciate it.
Okay, we do
Yes,
have
sir.
somebody.
Yeah.
Please.
Want to come up and state your name and address for the record, please?
Reese Hills, 5220 Heidler Road. We know that road always gets flooded. But Matt does a great job. We have no TV at our house. This is the guy we see all the time in emergencies. I'm going to tell you that right now. He's right. One concern about mine from Millcreek, the value of the face of our properties. I've been in many, many storms. I've been, like these guys, in disasters. Is the value of our properties and what the insurance companies do in Pennsylvania. We are not a matching state. We are not this. We are not this. So it comes down to our what's in town. What do I want to say there? What the town has written down.
The ordinances and code,
ordinance for codes, because most of our policies, almost all of our policy has a code upgrade on it. So if the township has a code, the insurance company's got to follow that code for the contractors, So I'm very well aware with it. I worked all sides of the industry there. We hear horror stories about storm chasers. I was one of them. I rebuilt communities. I would hire a storm chaser, I'll tell you that, because they do know what they're doing. But my concern is for the value of, I wasn't affected by the tornado. I am helping a few people out. It's already happened. The insurance companies come in, you're gonna patch us, and it's, like state of Florida, they got a 25% rule. Ohio's got a matching rule, so I think it's up to the town ordinances to maybe not this storm, next storm, who says we're gonna get one that's worse, oh God, we don't, but, just for the future, the value of our face here in the community is what I'm worried about.
Understand.
And if anybody wants to talk more, let me know.
Well, we can have our zoning office and solicitor look into those issues, absolutely.
All right,
Thank you for your comment, sir.
Any other citizens to be heard? Anything else to give the order? I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so moved.
Second, and we are adjourned.
We are out of here.
You're watching the Millcreek Government Channel, powered by WQLN Public Media.